What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new episode of TheLead Houston, where it's all Houston all the time. Today, we will be doing a mock draft. We obviously have done a few mock drafts in the past, but today it's a different one because ESPN has officially dropped their draft simulator. So we got to go ahead and get on down with the simulation and check it out and see how up to date is ESPN compared to PFF and the other mock drafts. I loved ESPN's. I've used it last year, and last year I believe was the first year they really implemented it, and I was falling in love with it because it is so up to date, and it feels like the picks and everything that happens and the players that are available for you at said pick is actually more reality than anything. PFF definitely feels like fantasy land when it comes to the mock draft simulator. The NFL mock draft simulator, that one has way too many ads and pop-ups, and it just annoys me, and it hurts my stream because it starts buffering and crap because of all the pop-up ads. So I digress. Let's get into it. Remember, this is a Houston Texans state of mind, and we're going to go ahead and get into the mock draft simulator. We're going to do 3 rounds. We're going to do a fast one, and we are going to select our Houston Texans as I got selected already. So remember, Texan state of mind, but we are going to be taking a peek at the rest of the AFC South and neighbors of the Titans, the Colts, and the Jaguars, and we're going to see what's going on. So without further ado, we're waiting on the draft to load. Waiting on it for a while. Here we go. All right. We're going to go ahead and move myself. See, does down there work? How about right here? I think that works. Yeah, I think that works. Let's go right ahead and do that. That way y'all can see everything. We got pick 25. Remember, 4 picks within the top 100. Let's go ahead and get it going. So, bang, 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 bang. All right. We're going to take a look. This is my first time using it on PC. So, I'm used to using it on the phone. I used it once on the phone just to get a good feel of it. Titans selected Shadir Sanders. Okay, number 1. We saw the Jaguars taking Travis Hunter, the special players, passing up on Mason Graham, which is interesting. The Colts take Nick Emmanwori at 14. Definitely a crazy dynamo, and they miss out on both tight ends, Tyler Warren and Colston Loveland. Leading up to our pick, Kelvin Banks has been off the board. Emeka Egbuka is off the board. Josh Simmons is off the board. Oh boy, who is there at this pick? Let's go ahead and make a pick. All right, they got a Marion Hampton up here. James Pierce Jr. is available. Matthew Golden is available. Walter Nolan is available. I am having a difficult time because I get a big smile on my face when I see Matthew Golden available, and I am having a very difficult time to fathom the Houston Texans passing up on Matthew Golden. We all saw my short where Nick Caserio himself was there for Matthew Golden's pro day at UT in Austin. And, you know, it's always a great thing to see the Texans take a look at a hometown kid in Matthew Golden, who is here with the University of Houston, the Cougars. Whose house? Shout out to the Cougs. Matthew Golden definitely is somebody there. Luther Burden is also available. Falling down, though, they got him at 47 here, which is quite interesting. I think Luther Burden doesn't fall all the way down there. Let's take a look at the guards because we have to. Gray Zabel is also available. Jonas Savannah. You got Donovan Jackson as well. There's still quite a few guys there. Offensive tackle Josh Connerly is available, somebody the Houston Texans also met with. There's Charles Grant, another guy the Houston Texans met with as well. But again, it is extremely tough for the Texans to pass up on a Matthew Golden if he's available at 25. So that is the pick. I'm drafting him, and we are going to keep it pushing. The Houston Texans select Matthew Golden at 25, and you get yourselves a dynamic player as long as this stops buffering or whatever it's doing right now. And we'll go ahead and, I guess, exit. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but hey, the Houston Texans get themselves a dynamic wide receiver at 25 with the pick of Matthew Golden. And bam, we're already back there at 58. So before we take a look at the players, we are going to take a look at some of the guys. Charles Grant just came off the board. Some of the Texans were taking a look at. There goes Jaden Higgins. We see the Colts grab Donovan Jackson. Not so hot for me. I would have liked the Donovan Jackson. The Jaguars take Luther Burden. The Titans take Josh Connerly. Some guys that were some favorites for the Houston Texans there. So the division is definitely taking some players we would have liked to had at 58. But we are going to take a look at what is available right now. In my goodness, a quarterback being available is good for the Houston Texans. Ultimately, this could be somewhere where you do trade down if somebody is wanting to take Tyler Show from Louisville. Who knows? Elijah Arroyo is available. We also have Darius Alexander, one of my favorite DTs. We just hired Frank Oakham to be, I believe, the assistant defensive lines coach, but I know he's going to be working with the defensive line. Why I mention him is because he worked at Toledo previously, and Darius Alexander had himself a damn good year there and shouted out himself. A whole hell of a lot of eyeballs were on him at the Senior Bowl. Mason Taylor, one of my favorite tight ends, is available right here. Jalen Noel from Iowa State also available. It is tough for us to pass up on the guard position. Y'all see it right here. Marcus Mbow is available. Tate Ratledge is still there as well. Definitely some interesting rankings on whether or not this is real or true. Maybe PFF isn't fantasy land. Who knows? But definitely some wild rankings, in my opinion. We've already taken a wide receiver. It's always good to see who else is on the board, though. You never know. Running back, man. Caleb Johnson is available. That's a tough pass right there. But ultimately, we got Darius Alexander and Mason Taylor. And to me, it's between both of those guys. The Houston Texans have already taken Matthew Golden. And considering some of these rankings right here for Mbow and Ratledge, I'm pretty confident that maybe one of those guys is available at 79. You look at the offensive tackle group, nothing else here. I mean, Emory Jones is amazing out of LSU. Don't mind him whatsoever. I don't know a lot about Ozzie Trapillo. I'm going to be completely honest with y'all. I do like Cameron Williams, but I do like Kelvin Banks a whole lot more, and he is not available. I'm going to take a risk and see if Tate Ratledge is hopefully there at 79. Considering the rank, who knows? Maybe Marcus Mbow is there available too. So we're going to take the risk, and we're going to go back to the best available. And we are going to do a BPA here, and it is between Darius Alexander and Mason Taylor for me. Those are the two. If anybody saw my previous video, I had a video that talking about the Houston Texans and the defensive tackle group. They have one of the best defenses in football on paper right now. Adding a DT like a Darius Alexander. I know I mentioned Walter Nolan by name, but Darius Alexander for sure gets this defense into another level as well. What he can do on the football field with D'Amico Ryan sprinkling that pixie dust, it is tough to pass that up. Mason Taylor has the Hall of Fame bloodline running through his veins. This is an extremely tough pick. Y'all let me know down in the comment section who should I have taken here at 58. But Darius Alexander versus Mason Taylor. Do you go offense or do you go into the trenches on the defensive side of the football? This is a tough one for me. But I am going to lean on the defense because, damn it, if I was a coach in the NFL, I would be a defensive guy. And the Houston Texans just made their defense one of the best, undoubtedly, defenses in the NFL. And you just kind of copy what the Philadelphia Eagles did, and you hope that with the addition of him paired next to Will Anderson, Sheldon Rankins, Daniel Hunter, that you could really get some shit going there in defense. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves some really good players available still here. Tyler Show is still available. Elijah Arroyo is there at 79. Rather interesting there. I did say we were going to look at offensive line, so that's exactly what we're going to do. And, of course, we rolled the dice, and it didn't work out. It is what it is, though. It is what it is. We'll also take offensive tackle here. And, yeah, you know, that's a tough one. That's a tough one, but it is what it is, right? ultimately, when you look at your offensive line, you still got Cam Robinson, Titus Howard, Drew Scruggs, blank at right guard, maybe Lincoln Tomlinson, maybe Ed Ingram, and then Blake Fisher. Look, it ain't the greatest O-line in the world, but you got 5 startable guys, I would say. If startable is a word, then startable it is. But definitely, I am looking at Elijah Arroyo here. It is tough for me when I go to the running back position. Dylan Sampson is still available. Devin Neal is still available. DJ Giddens. I do believe that maybe you could end up getting one of these guys even later in the draft, like a Trevor Etienne who's available. Bashal Tolton. Somebody take a look at him. The Texans met with Brashard Smith. Maybe that's someone else they look at. Jaden Blue is someone they also met with. There's still so many running backs, and because it's so deep, I would lean on going best player available. And hey, if it's Elijah Arroyo, it is Elijah Arroyo. And the Houston Texans have not addressed the offensive side of the football yet in terms of the offensive line, excuse me, because we already got Matthew Golden. Elijah Arroyo, why not? We're going to have a little fun with the simulator. We're just playing with the simulator right now, okay? Elijah Arroyo is the pick for the Houston Texans here. We got a wide receiver. We got a defensive tackle and a tight end. And then what is so good is the Houston Texans are right back on the board here. And immediately, yeah, Seth McLaughlin is there for Ohio State. My more favorite one is either between Miles Frazier and Dylan Fairchild. I am a big fan of Dylan Fairchild. Was he Dylan Fairchild? I could be wrong about him. Maybe I'm speaking about the wrong guy. Did I just check my notes on Dylan Fairchild? I absolutely did. Okay, so I was right. Dylan Fairchild, former state wrestling champ, okay, one of the better guards in terms of pass protection, and the Houston Texans coach DeMeco Ryans mentioned that for a hell of a lot of time whenever he was talking about the offensive line and the one voice, one sound kind of, what is it called, a drumline kind of quote there. And Cole Popovich, Nick Caley will have a hand in there as well. But Dylan Fairchild, again, very solid offensive guard. The Houston Texans maybe reach a little bit here, but go after a need for their offensive line. And Dylan Fairchild, you inject yourself some youth, some talent on the offensive line. And, well, considering the rest of this draft, you kind of did need an offensive guard some way, somehow. It ain't BPA, but it is what it is. And the Houston Texans, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Why are we showing the Tennessee Titans? I have no clue. But not too bad picks right there for the Titans. Who knows? Ultimately, we're looking at the Houston Texans. Matthew Golden, wide receiver. Darius Alexander's at DT. Elijah Arroyo, the tight end out of Miami. And then you got yourself Dylan Fairchild right there at 89. Hey, it ain't the ugliest draft in the world, but ultimately when I'm looking at these 4 guys, Matthew Golden is somebody that will immediately be taking some starter snaps for the Houston Texans. Elijah Arroyo now ultimately places himself in the mix for tight end 2, excuse me. He will be having that competition, and who knows if he beats out Dalton Schultz. We do know that Dalton Schultz could be maybe implied that the Texans go in a younger route. They could save some money by trading Dalton Schultz after June 1st or before June 1st. It's actually before June 1st. Darius Alexander, you already have a connection here with Frank Oakham, the defensive tackles coach, the assistant for the Houston Texans. He was at Toledo working with Darius Alexander. And then Dylan Fairchild, who would ultimately be competing for starter snaps at the guard position, opposite of maybe Titus Howard, Lincoln Tomlinson, who knows? But you got 4 guys right here that are all going to be in the mix to be a starter. And the Houston Texans, as much as this draft was looking a little shaky, at the end of the day, these are a hell of a 4 picks that I would not mind the Houston Texans ending up with. Y'all let me know down in the comment section. Please, please, please go down in the comment section. Let me know, how do you feel about the 4 picks? Am I a dumbass? Am I a smartass? Y'all let me know down in the comment section. You know I will reply. As always, guys, go Astros, go Rockets, go Texans. You have a blessed day.